Rangers, Royal Britannia, Chapter 2, Darkness Within. Trial by fire, hey Mark, said Artie. Yeah, what did Merlin mean by trust your instincts, don't fight the power? Asked Mark. When morphed, you find you know what to do. It downloads all the information you need about your weapons and your ability, said Sam. It's like the Matrix. You're no kung fu, said Jeff. Okay, Neo, let's leave the jokes till after we take out all the Skelly Knights. Ready? Said Artie. Each of them drew their swords that had their respective symbols on. Mark looked at his side and saw a green dagger flute and a sabre with a tiger's head on it. He took the sabre out. Okay, Morphing Grid, show me what to do, Mark said, talking more to the sabre.
Actually, you can call me Saba.
Mark dropped the sabre, but it didn't hit the ground. Instead, it floated up to eye level and spoke again.
Sorry, didn't mean to make you jump,
said the sabre. What are you? Asked Mark.
I'm a duplicate of the White Mighty Morphin Power Rangers enchanted sabre called Saba. I was, or he was, designed to assist the White Ranger, and I'm here to assist you.
Oh, so you get a tutor. We had to wing it for a week, Jeff said sarcastically. Okay, enough. Mark, talk with Saba, but make it quick. The rest of us engage the Skellies. Let's do this, said Artie, and they rushed off towards the Skellies while Mark spoke to Saba. Okay, keep it brief. What can I do? Asked Mark.
Well, you have access to all the Mighty Morphin weapons. Myself, the Dragon Dagger, Power Sword, Lance, daggers, bow, and axe.
Okay, so how do I bring them out? Mark asked, feeling around for pockets.
I'm not sure, but if you relax and focus on what you need, the answer will come,
replied Saba. Mark closed his eyes and took a deep breath, as if he was being shown a movie in his head. He saw each of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers holding their weapons. Then his own morpher. Okay, Mighty Morphin. That's red, blue, pink, black, yellow, green and white. Focus. In a flash, Mark knew what to do. He opened his eyes, pressed his power coin and said, Black Ranger, Power Axe! The Power Axe materialized in front of him. Whoa. Okay, Saba, what else can I do? Mark asked.
I can fight by your side and give you covering fire,
Saba said, and he fired lasers out of his eyes. Sweet. A partner with laser vision. Let's do this, said Mark, and he rushed into battle with Saba floating just above him. Nice of you to join us. Nice axe, said Artie, as he took out the two Skellies at once with his sword. Mark grabbed the axe by the blade and pointed at a bunch of Skellies. It became clear why. The axe doubled as a blaster. Okay, let's see what else I can do. Pink Ranger, Power Bow! The axe disappeared and a bow appeared in its place. Leaping into the air, Mark fired off about 10 pink energy arrows, which shot down and took out the same Skellies. Not far away, Sam and Jordan were taking on a dozen Skellies in what looked like, from Mark's point of view, like a dance. Jeff, on the other hand, charged at a load of Skellies, swiping his sword. Mark landed next to Artie, pressed the coin and said, Blue Ranger, Power Lance! Artie, duck! Mark shouted. Artie hit the deck, and with the lance, Mark span on the spot, taking out the approaching Skellies. Nice, said Artie. Guys, the girls are in trouble, shouted Jeff. Yellow Ranger, Power Daggers! Mark cried, as the three of them ran to help take out the Skellies between them, Sam and Jordan. The daggers disappeared and Mark pulled the dragon dagger from his belt and jumped in between Sam and Jordan. Then, instinctively, placed the flute to where his mouth is under the helmet and played a tune. From his shield, a force field pushed out, covering them and knocking back the skellies. "You two all right?" asked Mark. "Yeah, we're fine, thanks," said Sam. "Only time you're getting between us, Mark," said Jordan, jokingly. "Oh yeah, should have said. They're no damsels in distress," Jeff said, as Artie and him joined them. "We could do with something big to take out the last lot. You got anything, Mark?" asked Artie. "I think I do." Mark pressed his coin 5 times in a row, and before him appeared the power sword, lance, daggers, axe and bow. "Grab one," Mark said, grabbing the power sword. "Let's bring them together." "Power axe," said Jordan. "Power bow." Jeff added the bow to the axe. "Power daggers," Artie added next. "Power lance," said Sam. Mark placed the power sword on top, saying, "Power sword." Then all together said, "Power blaster. Fire." A beam of light shot out, taking the remainder skellies. As they turned, there was a big explosion. Power Rangers. Over the next few months, the Rangers defended the Nexus Point from the army of Morgan Le Fay. They began to trust each other, to the point they were having in-depth conversations while taking out the skellies. "I just don't know what to get her," said Sam, as she beheaded a skelly with a kick. "How long have you two been dating?" asked Mark, taking on a skelly. "A year next Tuesday. Wait till you..." "Watch out!" shouted Mark, and fired the power axe over her shoulder, taking out the skelly. "As I was saying, wait till you're 6 years, then you run out of ideas. You'll think of something," said Mark. "You was with someone for 6 years?" said Jeff, as he grabbed the power axe and brought it down, taking out the surrounding skellies. 8, but just then, Jordan shouted across the battlefield, "Guys, Artie's in trouble!" Over the far end, Artie was fighting some armoured man who had beaten Artie to the ground. "Jeff!" called Mark, as he reached his hand out for the power axe. Jeff passed the axe to him, but before letting go, spanned the axe and Mark around, throwing him and the axe towards Artie. In one motion, Mark returned the axe and grabbed the dragon dagger and saber. Glowing green and white, he came slicing down, knocking the knights back. "Mordred, how have you been? You done something with your hair?" said Mark, a grin on his face. The bold knight snarled as he threw his helmet away. "Your jokes do not amuse me," said Mordred, a look of hate at the Cornish ranger. "They're not meant to. They're to distract you, while the others get Artie to safety." Sure enough, the other 3 rangers were supporting Artie and heading for cover. Before Mark knew what happened, Mordred raised his hand and blasted the other rangers. Mark summoned the power sword and tried to knock the blast out of the way, but it wasn't enough. The blast missed, but was enough to send them flying. A dark energy began to flow over Mark. Rage, anger flowed from him. How could he have let this happen? How dare Mordred fire on his friends as they were retreating? The dark energy built up around Mark, and the power sword, its blade, straight, began to curve. The handle, once red, turned grey. The symbol turned into a red ruby. The sword of darkness, once used by the Green Ranger when in service to Rita, now was in Mark's hand. "You think your new sword scares me, Cornish?" said Mordred, as he brought his sword down onto Mark. He did not flinch or move. "My turn," said Mark, but in a much darker tone that did not sound his own. He struck Mordred multiple times, knocking the knight back onto the ground. Mark stood over him, raised the sword of darkness. "You win this." Mordred tried to say, but vanished before Mark could deliver the final blow. Off balance, Mark fell forward and released the sword, which disappeared. Mark removed his helmet, to be met with shocked faces on his teammates. "Are you all right? What's wrong?" Mark asked, seeing the others' faces. "Did you know?" Artie asked. "Know what?" "That you could summon the Sword of Darkness."